What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's your girl Ash. Y'all know who it is. Your favorite girl from the 504, bringing you y'all another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. Y'all have to bear with me. Um, last night I was supposed to do this episode last night, but unfortunately, my lupus is just not allowing me to be great. So I pushed last night's episode to today. And then I really kind of struggled today whether or not I wanted to do my episode today, but I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and push through. So, yes, I am currently having a lupus flare up, y'all. My legs are killing me, my neck, my whole body is aching right now, but no fever, nothing like that. So, I was like, let me jump on tonight because I promised y'all, I said I was going to stay consistent with doing this show. So here I am. Again, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. We have made it halfway through the week. We are 2 days away from the weekend. Y'all got to bear with your girl. I'm trying to push through tonight, but this conversation is so imperative. This topic is so imperative. What I want to discuss tonight when it comes to men, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's domestic violence, men are always the forgotten victim. Um, we focus more on women and less on the men when we need to be focusing on men too because men are victims as well. So, hence the purple tonight. I want to talk about domestic violence yet again. Yes, I know Domestic Violence Awareness Month is October, but domestic violence issues don't just happen in October. They happen every day. And we're seeing more and more men being unalived by women than anything. So we're seeing this more now. So I want to address it. But y'all already know how I start my shows. Y'all already know, y'all. I got to do my mental health check in. Man, check in with your girl. Let me know how you feeling today. Like I say, happy Wednesday. We're 2 days away from the weekend. What are your plans? What are y'all doing? But most importantly, how are you doing mentally? How are you doing emotionally? How are you doing physically? How are you doing spiritually? So I want to know. Drop in the comments. Let me know. Again, y'all, welcome tonight to another episode of Black Girl Interrupted. Y'all, I'm here. I'm here tonight. I'm here. There's my sister. Hey, sissy. I love you too. And thank you. Yes, my legs are hurting so bad. I took a muscle relaxer earlier, thinking maybe that would help. I promise I'm walking around here like an old ass woman. I promise. Hey, brother. My brother says he's hanging in there mentally. I know it. It's a struggle with everything that's going on in this world right now. It's a struggle, and we're barely making it. So this is why, I do these mental health check-ins simply because if we don't check on each other, who is? Who else is checking for us? Nobody. So I want to know how you're doing mentally. I want to know what can I do to help push you a little closer to the finish line mentally. What can I do? Would you like for me to pray for you? Do you want to have a conversation? Do you need me to continue to empower you? Do you need me to encourage you? Do you need me to uplift you? This is what we need. Definitely in these day and times. I mean, we're seeing the youth this world is crazy, y'all. It is crazy, but we have to keep going. We have to keep holding on to each other. We have to keep encouraging. We have to keep empowering. We have to keep uplifting one another because you don't know what a person is going through. You may see a person that's smiling and laughing on the outside, but they may be slowly dying on the inside. So it's up to us to make sure that we're checking on our loved ones, our friends. I mean, I tell you, every episode I tell y'all, it takes 30 seconds to send a text and say, "Hey, I love you. I'm thinking about you. Hope you're having a great day." You never know, that text message may change someone's life. So, y'all know what I do before I jump into any conversation. Y'all know I always have to drop some type of empowering video, an uplifting video, something to keep you encouraged. But let me go ahead and drop this because I definitely want to hurry and jump into tonight's conversation because, baby, I'm sick of this. I'm really, 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 truly sick and tired of this. So let's go ahead. Let me play you something that's encouraging, uplifting, empowering, and another way of me telling you that I love you. And then we're going to jump into tonight's conversation.
I want to encourage somebody out there who's thinking about quitting and giving up. Somebody who has been praying for years for things to turn around. You're thinking about quitting. You're thinking about giving up. You are folding. You are caving in. This is for you.
You're in this storm and you're down on your knees and you're cold and you're weak and you feel like this is the end. You have a choice to either give up or keep going. Give up or get up.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Stay in it. Stay focused.
When you fail, try again and again and again. You just take one step at a time.
It's hard, but it's worth fighting. It's worth believing. It's worth mustering yourself up, standing up inside yourself. It's worth fighting relentlessly, never giving up.
I love the sun, but things don't grow because of the sun. You have to have some rain. And you've got to stop looking at rain in your life as something bad. My greatest moments didn't come from my greatest moments. My greatest moments came from my greatest defeats. Because it was during my defeat that I had to find a way to get back up. You thought for 1 minute that you broke me. You got me twisted. I am not phenomenally skilled, but phenomenally willed. I will not give up. I will not surrender. I will not quit. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop running towards your dream. Stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. Keep your head up. Stick your chest out. Continue to walk with pride. And know if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's not going to be easy, but we have what it takes. Their rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass. Don't say I'm having a bad day. Say I'm having a character building day. Don't look at night as darkness. Look at night as a new beginning.
So as I keep on with my mental health check-in, I I'm gonna switch the video up next. Well, tomorrow I'm gonna have another inspirational video, but y'all have to understand. Every time I watch that video, it pushes me a little closer to the finish line because every obstacle that I've encountered in my life, I've always given up. Always given up. I've never sought to try to figure out how to make it through. I've always thrown in a towel. You know, like I was telling my sister earlier today, I'm having a whole lupus flare up right now, and I'm sitting right here talking to y'all. So I can't give up. You know, yes, I know y'all are gonna say, "Oh, Ashley, but your health is important." Yeah, but I can't let lupus beat me. You get what I'm saying? I have to beat lupus. So that video, it just encourages me. It just empowers me. It just uplifts me. And it just makes me want to keep going over and over and over. No matter how many times I fall down, I want to get back up. I want to keep going. I have to keep going. You know, it just, again, I've allowed depression to take me down. I can't lupus take me there either. So I have to get up. I have to push through. Yes, my legs are swollen. Yes, my neck is stiff as a damn board. I feel like I have the flu right now, but no fever, no none of that. But Anybody that's watching, anybody that may be standing in the midst of a storm, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. It does get better. It gets easier. Regardless of what you're going through, God is gonna always make a way. He'll always make a way out of no way. And every day I have to trust and believe that God is gonna heal me. I have to keep trusting. I have to keep believing that this is what's gonna happen. So this is why I'm here tonight. Yes, I am a lupus warrior, y'all. But I'm here. I'm here tonight to be with y'all. I love y'all. You know, y'all deserve it. So, all right. So let's jump into some of these comments, but keep dropping in the comments. Let me know how you feeling mentally. How are you feeling emotionally, spiritually? I want to know. But just know that I love you and we're going to make it. We're going to get through this. I promise you we are. So Brittany says, I came right on time. I needed to see this video. Yes, I know. These last few days, y'all don't even. I'll talk about that tomorrow. Y'all can't even fathom what I've been dealing with since Friday. But that's a conversation for tomorrow. She said, come on, ginger and purple lips. It's really, so let me tell y'all. So I was trying to dye it red, right? Okay, so let me show y'all. So y'all know my hair was like a dark brown. So I bought this red to put on top, right? And I was like, okay, yes, it's gonna be red. And so once I rinsed the color, I said, this ain't no damn red. This a ginger color. I look like Pippi damn long stockings. Do you hear me? I look like Pippi long stockings, but the color is starting to grow on me. But it's gonna be another color next week. So don't get too comfortable with this one because I'm gonna put another color on top. It's crazy, y'all. So Brittany Brown says BGI has the best episodes this far. Keep them coming, sis. Yeah. And they're gonna just keep getting better and better and better as the days and the weeks, the months and the years go by. Um, so goodness. So Brittany says that video definitely does it for me. I needed to hear that today. Thank you, sis, for being the light you are, and thank you for never giving up. You are here for a reason. I'm thankful for all of the support and love you give. You are my cup of tea, and I love it. I love you too, baby. And yes, I am a lupus warrior. So I am here, y'all. So y'all forgive me. Let me scoop back a little bit. So um tonight's conversation, I know everyone's like, but this is it's only recognized in the month of October, but no. I have spoken on this several times. I've had several episodes with regards to domestic violence. But I want to talk to the men again. I want to speak on the men again. So tonight's conversation, domestic violence against men. Why does this keep happening? What brought this and wanted me to bring and double back around to this conversation is because a little over a month ago, a young lady under by the name of Khadijah Brown was on Facebook Live and was arguing with her husband. And she was arguing over the fact that he did not cook for the children. Mom is in the background. She's gaslighting the conversation. Before you know it, a gun goes off and the husband is killed. Let me say this to you ladies. Stop holding these men hostage. If they want to walk out the door, let them go. Because in this situation, there are no winners. 4 children have lost both of their parents. 4 children witnessed their mother shoot their father in the back of the head. 4 children are definitely going to need some intensive therapy. And I'm going to repeat this one more time. You women, stop holding these men hostage in this house, in these homes. If they want to go, let these men walk out the door. If they cheat on you, leave them, baby. Let them go. What is killing them gonna do? What is killing them gonna do? You kill them, you're still not gonna be with them. You're going to prison for the rest of your life. Children are affected. It's so many circumstances around that your freedom is not worth all of that. That's like if me and my fiance ever get to a space where he's cheating on me, I'm not gonna kill him. For what? I'm gonna let you go and be with whoever you think so highly of and let you become their headache. I'm not losing my freedom behind no man, baby. Let me tell you something. Only people I'm gonna lose my freedom behind is Jacory, Jamari, and Chase. Them the only 3 people I'm gonna lose my freedom behind. And those are my children. Ain't no man in this world worth me losing my freedom. Period. So if you feel like you want to go, bye. Bye. Get the hell on out the door. I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to hold you hostage. I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to plead. Baby, if you feel like the grass is greener on the other side, baby, feel free to go and wander in the green pastures, baby. Go right on ahead. Because I'm not losing my freedom behind that. Again, when I saw that video, y'all, it made me sick in my stomach because I said, how could you do that? And then you got the mother in the background that's gaslighting the situation. That's instigating, that's throwing gasoline on the situation. For what? And then the first thing you ladies want to do, you want to jump on social media. You want to get on social media. You want to show your ass for what? Now they have evidence. Because I believe she said she had a gun. She had a gun. It goes black on the screen. Then you hear the gunshot. For what? You did all of that for what, ma'am? Because you were selfish? Because you made a selfish decision? Because you decided to kill your husband? Because he didn't cook dinner for the kids? And then from some of the sources that I spoke with, this is not the first incident amongst those 2 where she's been the instigator. She's been the instigator. So let me jump into this video. I want to keep the conversation going, but y'all let me know your thoughts on this.
Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Khadijah Michelle Brown is accused of shooting her husband, Jeremy Brown, to death. This happened in Mississippi Saturday morning over the weekend. Now, according to investigators, they got into an argument about him not cooking for the kids before he had to go to work, among other things. That argument turned physical and ended with the fatal shooting, which played out on a Facebook Live stream.
I ain't really trying to argue at all. I'm just trying to get my...
No, you want to go tell your family about this and about that. You want to do this.
I'm trying to leave from over here and pee, man. I ain't trying to argue at all.
Then y'all wonder why the kids.
A tragic reminder that men are also or could be victims in domestic violence, but we have to watch and see what happens and what plays out in this investigation. So we don't want to be quick to say he was a victim of domestic violence. We just don't know what happened. Now, Brown is in police custody tonight, that being the wife. Police say there was a history of domestic violence between Brown and the victim. They didn't say on which side, who was committing the domestic violence. Joining me now for the conversation tonight, we have with us trauma therapist Chow Nguyen and the director of violence prevention and training at the Houston Area Women's Center, Michelle Sachs. Got to have you all here on The Factor Uncensored. You know, and I listened to that video, and we all listened, and in all honesty, you hear her say, I didn't know there was a gun in the chamber, and you hear her say, there was something else she said. I didn't mean to pull the trigger. Well, but it's just, it's like we have to figure out what happened here. We just don't know the details yet.
But we do know a couple of things, Isaiah. There is a predictor there. There was a gun in the house and a history of domestic violence. Someone's going to die with a gun and a history of domestic violence, whether the perpetrator was the wife or the husband. Now we've got a family that's destroyed, kids who have lost one or both of their parents potentially, but you're right, it could go both ways. Was the woman a victim in this case, and she perpetrated this crime out of self-defense? We know of a lot of justified homicides. There are a lot of women coming out of the prison system killing their intimate partner or spouses because of that history. So we don't know everything quite yet.
And we lost a video where we could see maybe what was happening, but we only hear audio. So what did you ascertain from that audio when you heard it?
Well, I think when she's saying that she didn't mean to, right? She didn't mean to pull the trigger. I think is stating that she had it, right? That she had the gun. But, you know, as Chal was saying, what we know now is that if there's a firearm in the house and there's domestic violence going on, it can be up to like 500 times as likely that, like she said, someone's going to die. There is going to be a homicide.
And it's typically the victim.
And when you guys, they throw in social media, and they're on display for the whole world to see, and they know this. So you get more attitude, you get more violence with people because they know people are watching.
Yeah, they're putting the person front and center and saying, look at what's happening. The kids are here. The whole world's watching. The internet, my friends, my family members. Now you're more prone to seeing and witnessing the violence. So it's not just within the family unit that domestic violence is happening. Now people are exposed. People are terrorized watching this video. And how sad that these kids have lost their parents. We don't know, but we do know a lot about domestic violence. And I think few would dispute that domestic violence is typically crimes committed by men against women. What makes this unusual is the wife pulled the trigger.
So how do you help these children recover from this, Michelle? This is a tough road that they have to take.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to take a lot of counseling, a lot of therapy, and a lot of support. You know, again, we don't know what the situation is. They've lost one parent. The other one's, you know, been arrested. So hopefully there's family that can, you know, that can come in
and we talk about adverse childhood experiences. Look, I'm a trauma therapist. When you are in a family where you witness domestic violence, you can either become a perpetrator yourself or you become a victim. That cycle perpetuates. It repeats itself in the future. Very scary process.
And really quick for both of you, when we took a look at what they were arguing over, it was almost frivolous to what we cover typically. You know, there is some violence, there's something ugly going on in the family where one family member pulls a trigger on another. But they're arguing, what we heard is him not coming home, cooking for the kids before he goes to work.
Yeah, there was probably a history of other things going on. That was probably
that's what that argument was about, child. That's what they put on social media, and that's what they streamed live. It was almost frivolous.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Clearly there was something else going on there, right? And
there's a history, like you guys said.
The history right there, and then I think whatever it is that led to it, right? The decision to even put this on Facebook Live, you know, was it a cry for help? Was it, like Chal was saying, to expose it, right? So that other people knew what was going on. It may seem frivolous to us, but again, we don't know what was going on in that house.
And Isaiah, I hope that when your viewers are watching and they go, oh my gosh, this woman shot her husband, that at least they know that these things are serious. Guns in the house make you more prone to dying, and that there is help out there. We are talking about it in your very big form. You know, Michelle works at the Houston Area Women's Center. I'm a trauma therapist. There is help and there is hope to get out of this cycle of violence.
All right, ladies, thank you for joining us here on The Factor.
Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? Is that better? Y'all, I'm just talking. I'm thinking y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me now? Let me know. Can you hear me? It shouldn't be muted. Wait. Let me hold on. Okay, is that better? Let me know if y'all can hear me now. I'm just over here just talking, but let me back up to what I was saying. So I say this. Let me double back. So for those that saw the video, we saw all of this unfold on social media. And so the man in the video clearly told her, I don't want to argue. I'm just trying to get my stuff, or I'm just trying to do whatever it is, and I'm trying to go. I'm just trying to go. But then you got her mama in the background that's gaslighting the whole situation. Mama is heightening the situation. And she's on Facebook. She's, oh, you want to tell your family, but you got your mama cheerleading for you on the side. Your mama's on the side cheerleading for you. She's egging on the situation, which has gotten you excited, has gotten you more angry. Now you've got a gun. He's trying to go. Your 4 children are in the house. Your mama's in the house. It's heated. Then the gun goes off. The gun goes off. Now you have 4 children without their parents. All because you made a selfish decision. Then you arguing with him over the fact that he didn't cook dinner for the kids because he's getting ready to go to work. I feel like in a partnership, doesn't it go 50-50? Okay, he didn't cook for the kids. Okay, get up and go cook for the children so he can go and go to work because bills have to be paid. Hey, let's get it, GA. What's good? Good to see you, baby. Good to see you. Hey, sissy. Hey. So he's telling you, I don't want to argue. I want to go. There's a gun in the house. There's a history, as you heard. There's a history of domestic violence. He's leaving. Shots are fired. Dad is dead. You're gone to jail. Now you got 4 children without their parents. I'm going to say this over and over and over and over and over again. Ladies, keep your goddamn hands to yourself. Stop trying to fight these men. Let him go. Stop trying to hold him hostage in your house. Whatever. If he's cheating, let him go. If you don't want to, if the relationship is not working, baby, let him go. What is killing him going to do? You still not going to win in the end? Because guess what? Now you sitting in prison and now he's dead. Now what? You did all that for what? What point are you trying to prove? I'm lost. I'm so baffled right now because we see this far too often. I've had conversations with men that are victims of domestic violence and no one takes them seriously. And that's the sad part of this, is that there are really men that are really in abusive relationships. And it does not always have to be physical. You have men that are being verbally abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused. You have women out here that are dragging men and making men feel like they're about this big. And then you wonder why you by yourself. Because at what point do men get tired of that? And it goes and vice versa. But right now I'm addressing the men. I'm speaking to my brothers because there are men out here that are real life domestic abuse victims. And no one takes it seriously. Men don't talk. Men are afraid because it's not believable according to society. You know, when a man is saying, oh, I'm in an abusive relationship, the first thing society says is, how? And you're a man. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to take all of that. No, not one man on this earth deserves to be abused, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's mental. No man deserves that. But some of you women can't get that through your thick ass head. You feel like that's cool. Then you get on Facebook Live, you get on Instagram, you get on TikTok, insulting your man, putting your man down while your homegirls is cheering you on. Oh, girl, yeah, girl, yeah. Like this young lady's mother was in the background gaslighting the situation, and now this young man's life is over. You got the gun, and then you say, oh, I didn't know it was a bullet in the chamber. What did you pick up the gun for? For what? These 4 children that have lost both of their parents are going to definitely need some intense therapy. My heart goes out to these children because they're the real victims in all of this, because they witnessed their mother unalive their father. Arguing. Again, we don't know what happened prior to her jumping on Facebook Live, but we saw what happened once she got on Facebook Live up until we hear the gunshots. But you've unalived this man for what? Jules says they suffer in silence. Absolutely. There go my honey. Hi, baby. I hope you're having a good night at work. I love you. But we see this far too often. Women that are killing these men. Some go do jail time. Some get a slap on the wrist. I remember when I did my story on Dwayne Haskins. God rest his soul. Him and the wife got into an altercation in a hotel, and he was hit in the mouth, and a tooth was knocked out. And some of the comments were sickening to me because some of the women in the comments were congratulating this lady on her jumping on this man, saying, oh, he probably deserved it. And I'm going to say this again, and I may piss some people off, but it doesn't make, I don't care. You keep that. Let me say this to you ladies. For the ladies that congratulate women that are verbally, mentally, physically, emotionally abusive to their husbands or wives or girlfriends or boyfriends, I hope you keep that same energy when karma comes back around to you. And I'm gonna stand on that. Because I think it's absolutely disgusting for you women to think that it's okay to verbally, mentally, physically, and emotionally assault men. I think it's sick if you think that's okay. Because when it's done to you, you want us to sympathize and empathize with you. We need to give that same in return to these fellas. Because it happens far too often, but a lot of y'all are not ready to have that conversation. A lot of you women sit up here and try to justify why you do what you do. There's no justification in being abusive to your partner, male or female. There's no excuse. There's no justification for that. You cannot sit up here and tell me that it's okay to be abusive to someone. I don't give a damn where you come from. I don't care how much trauma you've been through. It's not cool to inflict that onto someone else intentionally. Let me say that. Intentionally. It's not cool to do that. I can speak for myself because I am a domestic abuse survivor. I was with a very abusive man for 5 years. And it wasn't cool. So, ladies, I want you to keep that same energy that you put out when men say that they are victims of domestic abuse. I want you to give them the same energy and love that you expect for us to give to you. And I'm going to stand on that. I'm standing 10 toes down on that. If you are a man that is a domestic abuse survivor, do not suffer in silence, baby. Bring it to the forefront. Put it on the table because we need to know, because we as a community need to figure out what we can do to help you get out of your situation. And I stand on that. There are a lot of people that just can't believe men are victims of domestic violence, and they are. I pulled up some stats. And it says 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men have experienced domestic violence, such as physical violence, sexual violence, and or stalking. So it happens. We see this. We hear about this. We got homegirls that do this. And guess what? We ride right on along with him to drive past this house. Oh, girl, let's put sugar in his gas tank. Let's do this. Let's bust out a window. We're complicit to that behavior with our homegirls. We engage in that. But when the tables turn, why is no one helping me? Why is no one helping me? So tonight, this is for my fellas. This is for my brothers tonight. This is for y'all. I'm talking to y'all tonight. I'm addressing these women for y'all. I'm putting this shit on the table. I'm waking this conversation up because any woman that sits and says that she's okay with doing this to a man, I hope something happens. I hope they lock your ass up. I hope you keep that same energy when them tables turn. Because let me tell you something, karma does not have an expiration date. So when your time comes, keep that same energy. So let's get it. GA says, I've been going through this right now. That's why I'm going through a divorce. My soon-to-be ex-wife punched me in my face. She calls the police and tells them I was hitting her. She did not get arrested. I was done. He says, the police told me to my face, we cannot take her to jail because I did not have physical bruises on me. The laws do not favor men. I stand by that when it comes to domestic violence towards men. And you know what? Let's get a GA. I wholeheartedly believe that because when I lived in Georgia, I was in a relationship with a young man, and one particular night it got physical. And I lived in, and this was in Atlanta. And the night it happened, I could speak on it now because I then did the time and everything for the assault. But they took both of us to jail that night. He went to jail because I had like a little bitty tiny scratch across my nose. They took me to jail because his shirt was torn, and he told the police that I had chased him around the apartment with a knife. I did. But it was a trigger for me because the guy that I was in a domestic violence relationship with was an alcoholic and a drug addict. So whenever he would come home drunk, it all depends. It depended on what day of the week it was. But anytime he came home drunk or high or whatever, I was afraid. It was almost like I had, let me not even say almost, I had to walk on eggshells. And so this particular night, the guy I was dealing with when I lived in Atlanta, had been drinking. And, he wanted to mess. No, go to bed, and that was a trigger for me. So it led to an argument, and then it got physical. Once he pushed me, I went and grabbed that knife, and all I saw was red because I wasn't gonna allow you to do that to me. But this is not even about me. I've shared my story. I'm talking to men tonight, but I did not mean to venture off and veer off of what you were saying. Let's get it, GA. But I'm surprised that they did not take her to jail. That's really surprising to me. But then again, it's not surprising because they don't believe that men are victims of domestic violence. So I can see why they didn't take her. And it's sad that there are women out here that actually do this. That's the sickening part of all of this, is that there are women really out here that do this. And got homegirls that are clapping for them in the background, that are celebrating them being abusive to their spouse. And men don't have a safe space to tell this to because they're not believed. People don't believe that men are victims of domestic violence, and they are. You can argue with me all day, but numbers don't lie. You know, I look at this right here. Let me move this banner out of the way, and it says, men can be victims too. Women are not the only victims of domestic violence and abuse. Men also suffer from domestic abuse, especially verbal and emotional abuse, and may be even ashamed to seek help. And I don't feel like a man should be afraid if he's in a domestic violence relationship. He shouldn't have to fear going and telling someone about this. And I get why men don't do it, because they're not believed. Police don't believe this. The laws don't believe this. They don't believe it until he's killed. And then it's, oh, the wife this was a history of domestic violence, and this was self-defense. Some of them are justified, some of them are not. You have women that are stalking these men when the men break up with them and say they don't want to be with them anymore. They go start stalking the men. They go to the man's job. They showing up at events that the man is at. That's crazy. But you got the homegirls in the background that's like, oh, girl, come on, let's go. Let's pull up on him. I feel like the homegirls that are complicit to this, I feel like their ass need to go to jail too. I feel that way too. I know it may not be right, but I feel like if you are riding with your homegirl while she's doing this, you need to catch a case too. An accessory. Period. I'm going to stand on that. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, that's the way I feel. You ride with your homegirl while she's doing this, you need to be arrested too, as an accessory. You really, truly need to. And so let's get it. GA says, my ex is trifling, and she gets that mindset from her trifling ass mama. And that doubles back to the video of Khadijah Brown killing her husband. I believe his name is Jeremy. I'm so sorry. The mama is in the background gaslighting the situation. Mama needs to be charged too. Because you could have de-escalated that situation. You should have pushed your daughter. You should have pushed your daughter in the room and allowed the husband to go on out the door and go to work. And 4 children would not be without their parents. Because that's who's really suffering. Those are the victims, is the children. Because not only have they witnessed their parents arguing in front of them, but now the mama has killed the husband, has killed the father in front of them. And now the grandmother's standing over there looking crazy. I want to know why the grandmother was not arrested. This happened in Mississippi, y'all. This happened in Mississippi. Here's another story, y'all, that I found. And this was in Atlanta. So let me roll this and let's keep this conversation rolling. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Domestic violence against men. Why does this keep happening? Why?
Sisters say they are heartbroken tonight and shocked after finding out the woman who admitted to killing their brother will not be tried in his death.
Investigators say Brett Zachary was stabbed to death by his wife, Roxanne, back in 2020. Police called it a domestic altercation, and Roxanne said it was self-defense. She was released from jail yesterday. Our Paula Suro is joining us now in studio. And Paula, you spoke with his family today.
Absolutely. You know, Brett Zachary's sisters and mother have been seeking justice for nearly 3 years now. They felt some relief when his wife was arrested and charged with voluntary manslaughter the day after his death. But they tell me they believe the judge's decision to not allow this case to go to trial takes all the relief away.
I've never felt more betrayed by the justice system ever.
Brett Zachary's family shocked that the woman responsible for stabbing him, leading to his death, is now free. That woman, Roxanne Zachary, was his wife and was charged with voluntary manslaughter. But this week, a Gwinnett County judge granted her immunity after a January hearing, and she was released from jail Tuesday.
Growing up, I saw a lot of injustice, but never in a million years would I have thought that with the preponderance of evidence that was against her, that she would walk out of jail.
Court documents show Roxanne claimed she acted in self-defense. His sisters say that while the couple had a history of domestic violence, multiple witnesses who were not allowed to speak in the immunity hearing saw Roxanne beating Brett multiple times before his death.
And I just saw her swing, and when she swung, she connected, and she hit him in his face, and he began to bleed. For that judge to not even consider hearing testimony from, if you didn't want to hear from me, ask one of the co-workers.
They believe the judge made this decision because of a double standard.
Roxanne is like 5'5", maybe, 120 pounds, maybe. My brother was 6'1", 6'2", military veteran with trained skills, heavier than her, and could completely have defended himself. But he wasn't that person.
Documents also show Roxanne gave different versions of what happened. Gwinnett County District Attorney Patsy Austin Gadsden tells 11 Alive that her office asked the court to not grant Roxanne immunity, and the DA wanted the case to go to trial. She says the judge and her office did not see eye to eye on this decision.
It's just an overwhelming feeling of just let down, hurt, no justice.
Now, we reached out to Roxanne's attorney but haven't heard back. Meanwhile, the DA tells me her office will reach out to Brett Zachary's family to schedule a face-to-face meeting to discuss the judge's decision. Meanwhile, his family is holding out hope for justice.
And that's right there is what I'm talking about. You had the evidence. She stabbed this man to death. And you walked out of a courthouse. You walked out of jail free. And we see this far too often. This happens way, way, way too often. What do we do, y'all? What do we do? So let's get it. GA says in that video you showed, sis, if the shoe was on the other foot and he turned up on her, the mama would have dialed 911 quick, fast, and in a hurry. And that's what I mean with regards to a double standard, is if it's the man that has instigated the situation, he's going to jail. No questions about it. They not trying to hear him beg and plead and say, oh, she did, that he's going to jail. 9 times out of 10, he's going to jail. Or if the police leave and have to come back, he's going to jail. Period. And the sad part about that story right there was the fact that they had all the evidence that proved that it was not self-defense. But she still walked out of that jailhouse a free woman. And this man's life is over. I remember yesterday, or a couple of days ago, I scrolled across another video where a man was saying he was shot by his wife while he was holding their child. So, of course, the wife went to jail. She got out. And when she shot him, he was holding their child, their son, I believe, in his arms. Wife gets out. She moves on. She's in a new relationship. She kills her boyfriend and buries him in a grave because she found out he was cheating on her. So that's what I mean when I say, if he's cheating on you, baby, ain't no man out here worth my freedom. I'm not going to kill for what? I'm not going to kill you for what? Because who really wins? Who really wins in that? I find out you're cheating on me. I kill you. I go to prison for the rest of my life. My children are without a mother. Who really wins? Your children are without a dad. Who really truly is the winner in this? Nobody. Nobody wins in this. Well, I tell you. So which goes into, why is it so hard for women to keep their hands to themselves? Why is it so difficult, ladies? Why is it so hard for you to walk away? Why is it so hard for you when a man says, you know what? I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just trying to go. Why do we walk up behind the man? Why do we continue to gaslight the situation? Oh, I know why. Because that's learned behavior. Because we want to get our point across. Because you're going to listen to what I'm telling you. This is what we do. And then guess what? Before you know it, someone ends up hurt. Police are called. Someone's going to jail. Then you got a ton of legal fees. When you could have just simply walked away and said, you know what? You're right, babe. You're right. You got this. You got this. You could have simply just walked away. But you women, you think you can stand toe to toe with a man? No, stop doing that. Stop verbally assaulting that man. Stop mentally and emotionally abusing this man. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you tearing this man down for the next person? I really try to wrap my mind around these situations when he's telling you, just let me go. I don't want to argue, man. I'm just trying to go, man. Just move, man. Move. Get the hell out of that man way. Let that man get out the door before it escalates into something worse, before someone's life ends and then someone's going to prison. But you women, some of y'all cannot get, again, you can't get that through your thick ass skull. You want to run behind him because you want to get the last word. You're trying to prove a point. For what? What point are you trying to prove? Let the argument end. Let it play out the way it's going to play out. Stop trying to hold these men hostage, baby. Let that man go. It's devastating every time you turn on the news. You see where woman finds out husband is cheating and shoots him and the mistress. Woman finds boyfriend had a baby on her, shoots the husband or boyfriend or whatever. For what? Then you lose your freedom. Then you're sitting behind bars looking crazy, talking about coulda, shoulda, woulda. What you could have done, what you would have done, or what you should have done, you should have walked away. You could have walked away. You wouldn't be sitting in jail. But now you locked up. Because you and your ego. Because ain't no man gonna play with you. You're not gonna do me like this. So you trying to prove a point. Some of you women be on that thin line between love and hate shit. Man say he don't want to be with you no more. You're pulling up to his job. You're calling his phone. He block you. You're calling from a different number. He block you again. You're all on his social media page. You're stalking his social media page. You got your homegirl. Girl, go look at his page. Who is that bitch he with? That's sickening to me. Disgusting to me. All because this man says, I don't want to be with you anymore. Or I'm not trying to argue with you. So you instigate the fight. You push and push and push and push till the man pushes back and now he's going to jail because now all of a sudden you're the victim when really you were the antagonist. You provoked this. You're the little girl that cried wolf. And then when this really happens, If you really truly are a victim of domestic violence, no one's taking you seriously. Why is it so hard for women to keep their hands to themselves? What is hitting him gonna do? What is slapping him gonna do? What is all that gonna do? What is jumping in his face gonna do? My brother, let's get a GA, is sharing his story. He's a victim. The wife. It's almost like you women. I don't know if you're seeking some type of control. Is this a control thing? What is it? That you feel like you have to treat your spouse this way. Let me know, fellas. Like, what do you think? Why do you think women do this? Women, why do you think we do this? I think it's more for a sense of control. When you go back and like I said, you look at Dwayne Haskins. I just was reading a story the other day. The girl, loving hip hop or whatever, Brittany Taylor, was accused of allegedly beating her baby daddy with a bat. But she says, "Oh, he was abusive to me." But if he's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then why do you stay? I know it's not easy to walk away from a domestic violence relationship. I know it's not. I've been in one, so I understand wholeheartedly. But if he's doing all of this, why keep having babies with him? Why stay with him? No man deserves to be abused. No man. And I'm telling you this, fellas, you don't deserve this. You deserve to be happy just like we women want to be happy. You have friends and family that instigate this, that gaslight these situations. Girl, get him. Get him, girl. He probably deserved it anyway. Those are some of the comments that I saw when Dwayne Haskins was assaulted by his wife. The comments, the women, oh, he probably deserved it. What did he do? Now you're victim blaming. Regardless of what he did, does not warrant you women to put your hands on these men. So keep your hands to yourself. Stop playing in these men's face. Stop all of that. For what? Baby, God didn't stop at that one man. I know you love him or you in love or lust or whatever you want to call it, but baby, it's many men out here that are gonna do right by you. But you want to be abusive to this one. So again, ladies, why is it so hard for you to keep your hands to yourself? Why? What is that gonna prove? You slapping him in the face, what is that gonna prove? He gonna get up and leave you. And then you're gonna be sitting up there by yourself looking crazy, trying to figure out why did he leave you? Because he got tired of you. He got tired of you talking to him like he was crazy. He got tired of you hitting on him, slapping him all in the face. He got sick of all of that. That's why he left you. Then you try to play the victim in your next relationship and say, oh, well, he was this, he was that, when really it was you. But some of you ladies aren't ready for that conversation. Some of you ladies aren't ready to take accountability for some of the things that you do. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, baby, but I'm telling you, let accountability set you free. Walk away. If a relationship gets to a point where it's physical, somebody needs to walk away, because you know what's going to happen? 9 times out of 10, someone's going to end up dead or behind bars for a very long time because someone did not choose to walk away. Because we as women, we have to get the last word. He say something, we got to come back. What? I thought that's what you said, and you better not say nothing, and da-da-da-da-da, and we just keep going and going. We don't know when to be quiet. We don't know when. But we gaslight a lot of these situations, and then we want to jump on social media. We want to get family involved. For what? To escalate and make this even worse? Which in the case of Khadijah Brown, your mother made it worse. The mama should have said, hold up, Khadijah, now we're not going to do this. The mama should have stepped in. But guess what? I'm almost willing to bet that the mama acts just like this. I'm almost willing to put money on it. This is the way the mama acts, that the mama acts just like this. Foolish, just like this. I'm willing to believe that. But again, in that situation, there's no winners. Because again, like I told you, you have 4 children without a mama and a daddy. Yeah, mama may be out of jail for temporarily. But when she goes to regular court, mama's going to do some time. Again, we don't know what happened prior to that. But again, there were reports of this being a history of domestic violence in this relationship. Why do we hold on? I guess maybe I'll never understand why we hold on to toxicity. I'll never understand that. And men are suffering in silence. They can't talk to anybody because no one's listening to them. They don't believe that men are victims when they are. Look at the R. Kelly trial. Everyone forgot about the 2 boys that testified against R. Kelly because they were so focused on the women, because that's what society has portrayed. That's the narrative, that men are not victims of domestic violence. We saw it unfold right in front of our very eyes with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. We saw it unfold. We saw it. We saw it. But yet, nothing's being done. So I want to play this last video, jump into the last comment for tonight, and then I want to share my final thoughts and talk about some of the upcoming episodes for Black Girl Interrupted. So here we go.
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. It's a strong reminder that there is a two-way street when it comes to domestic violence. Police say Gregory Kirk was shot and killed while visiting his 3-year-old son in Pasadena, Texas. Kirk's family said he was a victim of domestic violence and abuse by his ex-wife before she allegedly shot and killed him in front of their child. Now, Samantha Washington reportedly had plans to kill herself, but she was arrested by police before she could do that. Joining us now on The Factor Uncensored to talk about domestic violence and abuse when it comes to men is Chow Nguyen with the Houston Area Women's Center. A lot of people, Chow, almost joke about men being the victims of domestic violence, but this case is a strong reminder of how serious and how deadly it can be.
Men are victims too. That's what people need to know. They are not excused from domestic violence. They don't get a hall pass. In this case, it is really no joke. Somebody died allegedly at the hands of his partner because he was a victim of domestic violence. People need to know that men oftentimes are afraid to come forward because of the stigma or the ridicule. We are in a society where we think a man needs to man up and buck up, and how could a woman harm him when we know 1 in 4 men is a victim of domestic violence?
Wow, that's a huge number when you think about it, 1 in 4. And it's also a major societal problem that we have this stigma attached to men being victims of domestic violence. And so we all as a society will have to work on this problem so people won't fear coming forward, telling their story and their situation of abuse.
We hear it all the time. Not only do they fear coming forward or facing stigma, but they fear not being believed, that somebody will think they're the perpetrator and not the victim. We've got to change that narrative. Men suffer in silence oftentimes. They don't even report to the police because they are afraid that the evidence won't weigh against them or people won't believe them. We need to know that men can be victims because it's not a gender issue. This is an issue. Domestic violence is an issue of power and control. Who wields and exerts their threats, intimidation, physical violence over another person? And sometimes it can be women.
In this case, Gregory Kirk is already gone, dead, the victim of domestic violence and a deadly shooting by his ex-wife, according to police and his family. If someone is going through a situation like that child, we're talking about men, what should they do? What should be their first step?
You know, we talk about this a lot in the space we work. If it's predictable, it is preventable. And by that, I mean, what were some of the warning signs? Was there stalking, verbal threats, intimidation? Was there a history of violence? We need people to know you don't have to be a woman to call the Houston Area Women's Center. You can be a man. Call for support. Our hotline is 24/7, free of charge, confidential. That's where you can learn about safety planning your safety. Is there a gun in a house? Do you have an exit plan? That may save you your life. People need to know that if it's predictable, there's a history of violence, there's a gun in the house, it could be preventable. And just because we're the Houston Area Women's Center doesn't mean that you can't call if you're a man or you know somebody who might be suffering.
Now let's look at the people around the victim. If it's a male, what should we be doing if we're family members or friends and we see that they're going through a situation like this? Apparently in Mr. Kirk's case, his family apparently knew. So what advice would you give family members and friends?
We often talk about something we call the 3 R's: to recognize, respond, and refer. Listen without judgment. Be that compassionate ear that he needs. If he's talking about a history of violence, say, this doesn't have to happen to you. You don't deserve this. The worst thing that anyone can hear is, how could he do that to you? How could she do that to you? Why don't you just leave? Those aren't reassuring. It doesn't come from a place of support. It comes across as judgmental. So listen, respond with kindness, with compassion, and then finally refer. Tell them that help's available, that they're not alone, that they can be believed, and that resources like the Houston Area Women's Center are available for them to just pick up the phone. We have a live chat now on our website as well. There are avenues where people can get support and healing so they can live a life free of violence and end the violence that they might be enduring.
All right, Chow Wynn with the Houston Area Women's Center, and we want to send our condolences to the family of Gregory Kirk. We'll be back with more Factor Uncensored in just a moment.
So again, we're seeing and hearing, men being afraid to speak out for fear that they won't be believed, for fear that no one's going to take them seriously. Men feel like they have nowhere to turn, which needs to change. The stigma when it comes to domestic violence against men, I think, needs to be taken as seriously as domestic violence against women. Because as you just heard, they don't take domestic violence against men seriously. They don't believe that this can happen to men. They don't believe that. Y'all are supposed to toughen up. Y'all are big, bad, tough guys. How you letting this woman do this to you or that to you? It happens. And again, when it comes to domestic violence, it does not necessarily mean it's physical. It could be verbal abuse. It could be emotional abuse. So it's not always physical. I don't, and I can understand why when they say domestic violence, we automatically think physical. But we also have to throw in the fact that You can verbally abuse your partner. You can mentally and emotionally abuse someone, telling them that they're worthless. That's mental abuse. That's emotional abuse because you're tearing down a person's self esteem. And yes, it happens to men more times than you guys care to think. It happens. So leads me to this last scenario. Would you want a woman to treat your son this way? So, ladies, I'm talking to you because you may or may not have a son. The way you mistreat this man, how would you feel if this was your son? How would you feel if you had a woman that was doing this to your son? You'd be ready to go over there and fight and kill her and all types of stuff, wouldn't you? But if that's how you feel, you need to stop and think that this is someone's son that you're doing this to. This is someone's child. This is somebody's brother that you're doing this to. So before you decide you want to be physically, emotionally abusive to a man, think about your son. And how would you feel if a woman mistreated your son that exact same way? Would you like it? Would it feel good to you? Or would you be encouraging your son to leave that situation? Would you be trying to make it help plan an escape route to get your son out of that situation? That's what we need to do, y'all. As a people, we have to start addressing these issues head on. We have to start bringing conversations like this to the forefront. We have to continue doing this. We have to start allowing our fellas to feel safe to share their stories because men are embarrassed. Men can't tell. Excuse me. They can't tell people that I'm being abused because they're not taken seriously. And as you heard, 1 in 4 men are victims of domestic violence. Whether it's a straight relationship, whether it's gay, bisexual, whatever it is, men are going through the same thing. And what can we do better to help these men? What can we do to say, you know what? I got you. I believe you. How can I help you? But we got to create some safe spaces for these men to be able to come sit down and talk to us and say, hey, man, my wife or my girlfriend or my husband or my boyfriend, whatever the situation is, we need to make it safe for these men to be able to sit down and talk to us and say, hey, you know what? I'm a victim. So again, ladies, you have a son. You may have 2 sons. You may even, a daughter. Would you want this for your child? Again, ladies, I want you to think about this the next time you hop up in that man's face, the next time you slap that man, the next time you throw something at that man. I want you to put your son in those very same shoes because that man that you're doing that to, that's someone's son. And then you come back and you let me know if you feel like that's acceptable. If you don't feel like if it's acceptable, then stop doing it. Because, baby, I'm here to tell you, them tables gonna sure enough turn. You do this to somebody's son, somebody's gonna do this to your son. And that's not fair. There's no man that walks this earth that should be mistreated verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally. He doesn't deserve that. Even you mothers that are abusive to your children, that have torn your son's self-esteem down, he doesn't deserve that. He deserves to be happy and healthy in a beautiful relationship, not having to come home and listen to you scream and yell and argue and you're slapping him in the face and you're telling him he ain't worth shit. because we show empathy to you, so that needs to be reciprocated to our men. Because our men are really truly out here suffering in silence. So again, ladies, would you want a woman to treat your son the same way? Do you think that it's acceptable for you to mistreat these men the way that you do and not expect it to come back to your son or sons? It's not acceptable. And to you fellas that are going through this, it's not your fault. Because I know people love to victim shame. Oh, they love to point the finger and say, oh, it's the victim's fault. Well, what did you do to provoke her? No, I don't care what you did. What's the old little saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. They do. The external bruises may go away, but it's the internal bruising that lasts a lifetime. But some of you women aren't ready to have that conversation, though. Some of you are that homegirl that rides around with your homegirl to go stalk this man. Y'all are stalking his social media sites. That's why some of y'all ain't saying okay. Because this is what you do. You think it's acceptable for her to go up there and put sugar in this man's gas tank. You think it's acceptable to go and poke holes in his tires. You think it's acceptable to put a Snicker bar in his gas tank. You women, some of you women that ride along with your homegirls and you know what her intent is, y'all feel like this is okay. But when those tables turn, when karma turns around to bite you in your ass, I want you to keep that same energy. That's what I want to happen. So again, it's not acceptable, ladies. If you don't want it done to you, then don't do it to anybody else. If you don't want that karma to come back to your children, then stop doing that bull con that you're doing. Stop playing like that. You men, walk away from those types of relationships. Stop sitting in the midst of toxicity, because I see it all the time on social media. We see it on these reality shows where men stay. Or they leave and the woman gets mad because he decides he's ready to go. He decides he's tired of you beating him down. So now you're mad because he left. So now you're stalking him. Now you up there at his job acting a fool. So he loses his job. So guess what? He can't pay child support. So now you even more mad. Now, oh, you're a deadbeat. Oh, now you don't take care of your kids. Well, he lost his job, number one, because you carried your ass up there to his job and clown. Because this man said he no longer wanted to be with you. So you figure I'm going to go up here and I'm going to make him want me. No, baby. Let me tell you something. Anytime you got to make a man want you, let him go. Stop getting out here. Y'all y'all out here risking your freedom for what? In the case of Khadijah Brown, 4 children have lost their parents. 4. Mama's going to prison. Daddy's in a cemetery. So who's really the victims? Those children. Those babies didn't deserve that. Those children deserve to grow old with their daddy. But because the mama made a very selfish decision that has not only affected her, but those 4 children, that you're going to one day have to sit down and explain to them why you killed their daddy. And I don't even believe you know why you did. So sad. Let me put these resources up to any man that is in a domestic violence relationship. Let me move this banner out of the way. You're never alone. What I have up here on the screen is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. This number is available 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days. 366, y'all, if it's leap year. And those are phone numbers you could text or call. You can text if you feel uncomfortable with talking. You could chat. Call somebody. Fellas, you don't deserve this. Your men don't. Y'all don't deserve to be abused. No matter the circumstance. You men don't. But again, y'all, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men have experienced domestic violence, whether it's physical, sexual violence, and or stalking. That's all domestic violence. Sickening, y'all. Sickening. Why? Why, ladies? Again, that man say he don't want to be with you, baby. Let that man go. Let that man go his way. If he say he don't want to argue, stop arguing with him. Let him go. Let me say this. Cooler heads always prevail. Because in the heat of the moment, you may say or do something that you may or may not regret. So we have to be mindful of where we are in our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions. We have to learn how to control those emotions and stop reacting over things that are just so minor. Because we end up with situations such as the case of Khadijah Brown. She in her feelings. She on Facebook. She want the whole world to be in her business. You unalive your husband in front of your 4 children. They didn't deserve that. Those babies did not deserve that. Those children did not ask for that. But because you so selfishly took their father away from them because you were mad. The kids weren't mad. You were mad. When you could have just simply went in there and just fixed something to eat. You didn't have to. What was the gun for? Because to me, that sounds like intent. To me, that sounds premeditated. To me, it sounded like you wanted to do something to him. And that's just my perception. That may not be the truth, but that's what that sounds like to me. What did you need the gun for? What made you go pick up the gun anyway? Was it to scare him? What was it to do? I guess maybe we just have to wait until the trial and see what the outcome is and let the jury decide. I feel like you need to go to prison for the rest of your life. That's how I feel. You let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. What do you think? Because I really feel like this woman and her mama need to be charged. The wife has already been tried. I feel like the mama needs to be as an accessory because you gaslit the situation. You did nothing to de-escalate the situation. But now you have 4 children without their mom and their dad. 4 children. So there are no winners. There are no winners. Because you found out he was cheating. So, or you find out he's doing this. You find out he had a baby on you, whatever. But now you want to unalive him. For what? It's not worth it, baby. It's not worth doing no time behind no man. It's not worth risking your freedom behind a man who you lose in the end anyway. Because he's moved on to someone else and you sitting up here in jail. And now this woman is laughing at you. calling you the dummy. And she is out here living her best life with the person that should have been your man. Now, who really won? Who is really the winner? Which brings me to my final thoughts, y'all. Domestic violence is never okay. It's never okay. It's never okay to put your hands on someone. Then your parents teach you to keep your hands to yourself. And yeah, I'm addressing you women because I've addressed you men. But you women, stop running up on these men when they trying to go. Stop running up on them. Let them go. Let them go. Let them go out the door, girl. Let them go. And then when you calm down, when he calms down, then y'all sit down and have a conversation. But all that jumping on social media, what was the point you were trying to prove? Why is that always the first thing we do when things not going right? That's all we want to do is jump on social media. For what? We witnessed you kill your husband. Well, I'm sorry, we didn't physically see, but we heard it. We heard it. But when it comes to domestic violence against the men, this needs to be taken a little more seriously. If we have that same energy that we pour into women who are victims of domestic violence, we need to continue that when it comes to men. I think empathy and sympathy needs to go across the board for both men and for women because they're victims of both genders. So what do we do? I'm just this conversation tonight took me all the way back to my life as a domestic abuse survivor, listening to this woman murder her husband on live, looking at a lot of these stories. Excuse me, y'all. Looking at a lot of these stories where these women have killed their husbands because the husbands no longer don't want to be with them anymore. They've caught the husband cheating or whatever the situation is. We've seen this. And no, it doesn't always result in end in death, but someone ends up going to jail for what? For what? Some of you ladies need some intense damn therapy, baby. I tell y'all. On that note, all I'm gonna say is, ladies, keep your damn hands to yourself. You don't want that man putting his hands on you, then stop putting your hands on him. Period. Fellas, I understand, baby. I get it. But stop letting these women be abusive to you, whether it's physical, whether it's verbal, whether it's mentally. That's not right. It's not right. It is not right. And it needs to end. Oh, y'all, on that note, I'm sorry I rushed through this episode tonight, but y'all know, like I stated earlier, I'm literally having a lupus flare up and I just had to get on here and push through. So, upcoming episodes for Black Girl Interrupted. So, tomorrow night, I wanted to discuss relationships, but I had to bring another story to the forefront. And this is a near dear personal situation and encounter that I'm going through right now. And that is the man that unalived my niece is now contacting me. So I want to talk about this tomorrow. I want to know what more can we do as a family to prevent this from happening to someone else? What can we do to stop this man from contacting? That's tomorrow's conversation. And then, of course, y'all, Monday, May the 1st, kicks off Mental Health Awareness Month. So every episode for the month of May will be in regards to mental health. I am gonna put together a special Mother's Day episode because I want to salute the mothers, whether you are a biological mother, whether you're a stepmother, whether you're a fur mom. Either way it goes, I want to give all the moms across the world their flowers. You deserve it. And then June, we will start our panel on relationships. I cannot wait. I'm excited for that one for June. But yeah, May 1st kicks off Mental Health Awareness Month. And again, I will be addressing every topic with regards to mental health, anxiety, depression, schizophrenic, bipolar, PTSD. And I will continue to fight to help remove the stigma from around the Black community when it comes to mental health, because it's being swept under the rug. Y'all are uncomfortable talking about it. Men are committing suicide. Black men are committing suicides at higher rates than white men. So I'm going to address that. I want to wake that conversation up. Ooh, something in my eye. So those are the upcoming episodes for Black Girl Interrupted. Again, tomorrow night, I'm going to be discussing the man that murdered my niece has now been contacting me, has recently been contacting me, sending me messages, but we'll get deeper into that conversation tomorrow. But again, if you are wanting to be a guest, let me put this out here right now. I am not looking for a co-host for Black Girl Interrupted. I've had a co-host. It did not work out. So I want to collectively be in control of a show that I created, of a podcast that I created. That's not to say that I do not want guests, but I'm not looking for a co-host. If you are wanting to be a guest on Black Girl Interrupted, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see blackgirlinterrupted1@gmail.com. Send me an email. If you have a topic idea, if it's something you want to come on the show and you want to talk about, send me an email to blackgirlinterrupted1@gmail.com. I will say this, please allow me 24 to 72 hours to respond. That way I can set up a meeting time where we can sit down and discuss what topic you would like to address and set the date down. Put a date on the calendar for us to do this episode. But again, I'm not looking for a co-host. Let me put that out there. Again, if you would like to be a guest on Black Girl Interrupted, at the bottom of the screen, there is the email. Please send me an email. I do not discuss anything with regards to being a guest or topics through instant messenger. I only do it through email. So that way I can respond to you. I can keep up with the thread. I can put it on a calendar for us to set up a meeting where we are able to discuss the topic or the conversation, same thing, and the date that you would like to come on the show. Also, to keep up with any upcoming events for Black Girl Interrupted, at the bottom of your screen. Oops, there we go. Let me go this way. Here we are. There's the website, www.blackgirlinterruptedpodcast.com. I need to actually go and upload some of the most recent episodes. But that will let you know what events or what things are coming up for Black Girl Interrupted. That'll keep you updated. I'm also in the process of putting together a newsletter so I can start sending emails out. So again, if you want to be on the email list, please send me an email. I'm so sorry. Go to the website, send it in the box at the bottom. I will receive the email. Again, please allow me 24 to 72 hours to respond. I do have a new work schedule, so I'm really working to start responding to all my emails on Saturdays, really dedicating and setting a time where I'm, just responding to any emails or any inquiries that I may receive. So y'all be patient with me. I am trying to get acclimated and working on my new schedule. But again, any updates with regards to what's going on with the show, there is the website down at the bottom, y'all. www.blackgirlinterruptedpodcast.com. Again, if you are looking to be a guest on the show, if there's a topic you want me to address, if it's something that I may not have discussed and you want me to bring it to the table, send me an email, y'all, at blackgirlinterrupted1@gmail.com. And I'm going to stress this enough. Please allow me 24 to 72 hours to respond. So, oh, yeah, that was tough. Normally, these topics go a little longer, but your girl is not feeling good, as y'all can see. My neck is like so stiff. And my legs hurt. So, again, tomorrow night. Oh, yeah. Also, the timing for the podcast will change. I will now be going live at 8:30 due to my work schedule. So I'll still be going live every Tuesday, every Thursday, but it will be 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time. Again, I just want to say thank you. I love you guys so much for all the continuous support that you guys show me day in and day out. I appreciate the patience and the grace that y'all continue to give me. So again, tomorrow night, 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time, I will be discussing and going into a little more detail with regards to the murder of my niece and how this murderer, this monster, this demonic spirit is now starting to contact me. And I will be posting some of the messages that he's been sending. So I love you guys. I really do. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Again, happy Wednesday. I hope tomorrow is better for you. Regardless of what happened today, leave it on today and pray and know that tomorrow will be a better day. And I love you, love you, love you. And I will see y'all tomorrow night. See you later.